I enjoyed my experience at the observation post. It taught me, amongst other things, something about the infantry. I soon became convinced that their officers ought to be given elementary instruction in gunnery. Now, every piece of artillery has what, if my memory is not at fault, is called the probability factor. Even with a gun in perfect condition, accurately laid, and firing faultless ammunition, the shell might come to earth anywhere between two roughly known points, one beyond and one short of the target. The probability factor is the distance between these 2 points. In the case of a gun with a flat trajectory, which the 60-pounder had, this factor was substantial. On one occasion, an infantry officer showed me where there was a troublesome enemy machine gun and asked me whether I could deal with it. I said that was simple. Having located it on the map, I instructed my signaller to tell the battery to put it out of action. In due course, we had the report that the gun had fired. The shell landed about 30 yards short. Pretty good for a start, but we hadn't hit it. I had to explain. Another experience was rather more difficult. Again, I was asked by an infantry officer to shell a point in the enemy's front line. Having marked it on the map, I realized that it was too close to our line, less than half the probability factor. And I had to tell him with regret that I couldn't oblige. He showed annoyance, and it took me some time to convince him that if he were fired at this target, he might land high explosives amongst his own men. I think, as far as I can remember, I managed to get a howitzer battery with a lower trajectory and a shorter probability factor to do the job for him. At the observation post, I also learned how the experienced soldier can become a culinary artist. A signaller who used to accompany me was one. I have indelible memories of the delicious aroma of the despised bull beef sizzling in his frying pan, told me about half a dozen candles stuck inside a dilapidated biscuit tin. I digress to admit that in the circumstances of my active service, I was fortunate for 3 reasons. First, in the gunners, we had less discomfort than the infantry, and speaking generally, less danger. But not always. I certainly make no claim to exceptional courage, but I can recall only 2 occasions on which I felt anything that can reasonably be called fear. Once, when I was walking in the open with Worsley Holden, we were watching a solitary German plane a few hundred feet above us. It suddenly banked and dived on us with blazing machine guns. In a split second, we almost dived into a shell hole. Not perfect protection, but it sufficed. The second occasion was more serious. One day, when we were advancing, I was the officer on duty at the battery, which was in the open. It was quite clear that we had been spotted by the enemy, who suddenly opened an intense bombardment. They shouted to the gun teams, about 30 men, to take cover, but there was no cover for us except the cops. The bombardment lasted for about 10 minutes, and we were incredibly lucky to have only 1 man wounded and none killed. The second piece of luck in the circumstances of my active service was that I was in the line only from August to October, so I escaped the misery of fighting in the winter. Thirdly, most of my time we were advancing, and I was spared the harrowing experience of a retreat. The German gunners were apt to be excessively methodical. One evening I was walking back from the observation post of the battery by an infantry corporal who advised me to take cover. Looking at his watch, he said, "Jerry will begin shelling this road in 5 minutes' time." I acted on his advice, and his timing was correct. After about 4 minutes of high explosive, it stopped. Someone called out that it was all over, and I continued my journey.